All right, welcome to Module 4 of Language Arts. Today we are discussing an assignment based off of Chapter 5. So we were instructed to go over some different instructional activities that could be helpful for teaching phonological awareness, decoding, and sight recognition of irregularly spelled and highly frequent words. I found this actually very interesting and very fun to learn about because I've always been very focused in spelling. Spelling has always been my favorite subject in school. Spelling bees, spelling tests, they got me very, very excited as opposed to something like math. But starting with our phonological awareness activities, I love phonetics, so there were a couple things that I found interesting that might, be a good activity. The first one is just rhyme recognition. Something that's super fun and super easy for kids to learn. Phonetics is just giving them a couple words or giving them two words and asking them if they rhyme. Or, you can make a chart and say, okay, we have the words fun and we have the words sun. Now, you can see how many kids know what the word rhyme means. It's just a very quick, simple, easy way to get kids to kind of gauge their ability to see if things rhyme. And then you have the word cat and dog, and if most of the kids realize that those don't rhyme, and most of the kids realize that sun and fun do rhyme, you can kind of gauge which students need a little bit more help with that, but it's just a quick, easy thing. So rhyme recognition. Another thing is alliteration sorting. I also really love alliteration. The acronyms, the acronym poems, I also really enjoy. Just writing the word Christmas vertically and then assigning each letter of the word Christmas to those letters something related to Christmas. I know that's not really what alliteration is, but for some reason alliteration makes me think of acronym poems. But alliteration sorting, you can give the kids picture cards and sort them out by the beginning of the start of the beginning sounds of that word. So alliteration, is the same sound multiple times in words in a sentence. So, I don't know, Bart rode his bike. Just numerous continuous letter soundings. So, giving kids picture cards and sort them out and kind of give them different words in sentences. So, Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Now, that's kind of a tongue twister, but it's something that most kids have heard by the time they're in second or third grade. So, that's another really great thing that you can do. Now, moving on to the decoding activities. So with this, I would say another great activity for decoding can be something like word building. Maybe if you have those magnet letters that can stick up to the whiteboard or whatever, just swapping letters to form new words. So kind of decoding, I forget what those games are called, but there's a lot of games out there like Scrabble. Playing Scrabble would probably actually be a way simpler way to teach kids how to figure out what letters can make different words. And if you already have the word cat, you can swap out one letter and then you have bat. Or you have the word dog, you can switch out the D for an F, and you have the word fog, kind of decoding that. So that is another thing. Word family ladders, kind of building words or building word lists by rhyme. So kind of the opposite of the word building with the swapping out letters at the beginning. This ladder would be swapping out letters at the end, but not necessarily swapping out, but just same thing. The word cat, you take the at, the last two letters, and kind of assign those to different, just take the last two letters, AT, and then, have the kids go around and put a letter in front of it without them seeing the letter in front of them. That's another really great way to do that. And the last one is sight recognition of the irregular high frequency words. So the one thing that I really found interesting was it's something called heart word mapping. So we're writing the word, like if you have, trying to think, like if you have the word said, like he said, she said, you can highlight the irregular part. So like the AI in said kind of equals that E sound. So if you trying to pronounce it phonetically, kind of looks like Said, but it's said. So teaching kids to, like, you can tap the sounds, you can put heart mapping specifically, or putting a heart over the parts that over the parts to remember. So if that makes sense. And another one I thought was really fun was bingo. It's sight word bingo. You're basically, just using grids with the frequent irregular words and calling them aloud. A lot of kids already know what bingo is. They might not find it super amusing in today's day and age, just because every game is pretty digital for kids these days. But it's just a great way, to have kids learning something off of a screen, and just kind of getting them to engage. That not only, these kind of activities involve teamwork or involve communication between classmates. It's, also giving kids just an easy way and a fun way, especially because just to learn stuff like this, like phonetics and recognizing words and kind of pronouncing things. A lot of kids, a lot of kids are great with reading, but a lot of kids have issues with reading or recognizing words. And this is probably like one of the most important things that you can do in your classroom for kids, especially younger children, because there are some instances where this can actually help kids that either have something like dyslexia or could be heading towards dyslexia, if they're not getting the most help that they need individually. Of course, there's no way of knowing that, but so all of these are great activities. I'll definitely be using these in my classroom.